Good evening and welcome to tonight's Transportation Benefit District meeting. The first item is to call the roll. Ms. Simonson? Thank you. And just for clarification, it's board members for this meeting. We're used to that, believe me. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is public comments. This is a limited public forum for people to speak to the Transportation Benefit District Board during this meeting. Topics are limited to items on tonight's meeting agenda and to topics specific to the Transportation Benefit District laws, budget, and operations under the board's authority. Comments that are outside this limited scope will not be allowed. Comments that do not follow the council's rules of procedure will not be allowed. Pursuant to council rules of procedure as amended by Council Act on December 12th, 2023, oral public comment is limited to in-person comment only for all city public meetings, including city council and all city boards and commissions until further notice. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Spoken comments that are not within the scope or time limit of this limited public forum can be sent in writing. Information on where to send written comments is on tonight's agenda and on the screen. We will now begin public comment. Please state your name, area of residence, or association with the district and topic, and then we'll start the timer. Ms. Simonson, is there anybody that would like to speak tonight? Okay, thank you. Please let the record show that board member Walker came in at 6:01. Good evening. All right, the next item on the agenda is requested action to move to approve the consent agenda as provided in the packet. Okay, motion's been made by board member Fisher, seconded by board member Fulcher. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. 6-0. Sorry. Next item on the agenda is new business, 2023 Monroe Transportation Benefit District Fiscal and Operations Annual Report with Ms. Hassert.
Thank you, Chairman Hanford. And just so you know, Board Member Gamble did contact the city earlier today and said he may not be able to make this meeting, but should be here for the later council meeting. So,
thank you.
So we're here today to present the annual Monroe Transportation Benefit District Report. Not only is it required by statute to do so in a public forum, but it's actually just good practice to be able to share what happened last year with the TBD. I have the boring part, which is to just go through the numbers really quick, and then I'll turn it over to my colleague here, Mr. Hahn, who will share the actual fun stuff with the projects and things like that. In your packet, you also have the financial annual report attached as well. That was filed with the state, and that fulfills our requirement there. We just went through an audit last year, but we won't be scheduled for an audit again for the TBD for at least another year, if not 2. The last one did cover a 3-year period, and we're a small enough agency as a transportation benefit district and also low risk that we may be on a 3-year cycle as well. But that leads nicely into the fact that the only 3 expenses that we really have in the TBD is our audit costs last year. Again, we won't have those this year, except for a little bit of residual that carried over. We do pay insurance. We are part of the Washington City's Insurance Authority risk pool. And our insurance costs are a flat $2,500. It has been since I've been here with the city of Monroe over the last 7 years. And then, of course, the remainder of our costs are the payments that we reimburse to the city of Monroe for the road work they do on our behalf. So you can see there, that leaves us actually under budget by $343,000. It's always good to come in a little under budget. So, but what's also nice is the city has been able to get more work done each year. So there's been years where we've come in much more under budget, and that's not always a good thing because that means that some projects then aren't getting done. And we want to make sure that the TBD is actually doing what it's intended to do. So with that, if we can go to the next slide. So again, we came in under budget. We had a beginning fund balance of just under $2 million. The TBD is funded by a voter-approved 0.2% sales tax. And in 2023, as you can see, we received almost 1.67 million. And then if you subtract the expenditures that we were just talking about, we did end the year at a little over 1.5 million, which then becomes the beginning fund balance for fiscal year 2024. So that's the numbers part of the story. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Derek so he can share the fun part of the story.
Thank you. I'm Derek Hahn. I'm an engineer with the city. We are going to go through, there were two main projects that benefited from the TBD in 2023. So we're going to go through those one by one. We have three here, but one's kind of a little segment that was part of the annual road maintenance program that we have. So the big project was the farm overlay. So that's Country Crescent Road and then the farm development. You can see on the map all the red up in the northeast corner. And then we also had a section of Powell Street, as you can see in the bottom left. In total, we did 4.53 centerline miles of paving this year using TBD funds. Next slide. So this is the existing pavement conditions of the two locations. You can see there's quite a bit of cracking, a lot of tar patching that's happened. Just a lot of wear and tear over time on these travel lanes. So refreshing those was a big part of this project. Next slide. So I do have some drone footage, and we're gonna see how well this works. The frame rate may drop on these, but we're gonna try. So go ahead and play. So this is doing the grind on Country Crescent Boulevard, where they basically take 2 to 2.5 inches. Is it playing? Oh, okay, well, we'll see. Yeah, well, I'll talk you through it. What it would have been is a fly through of, there we go. Now it's moving. Yeah, frame rate's a little choppy, but you get the gist. And they basically just kind of had a train running through. You can see the dump trucks there, and they have a planing machine that basically just takes a 2 to 2.5 inch plane off of the existing pavement. Asphalt is commonly two types of asphalt stacked on top of each other. The bottom is called asphalt treated base, and the top is called hot mix asphalt. And they have slightly different properties. And what we are doing here is grinding off the hot mix asphalt on the top and leaving the base on the bottom, and then coming back and replacing that HMA layer over the top of it. So yeah, you can see they're letting traffic through here, and they go all the way to the bottom of the hill with their grind. This is only showing Country Crescent. We also did this all through the farm, through that development that you see in the background there. Next slide. So this is, I think that's the same one. Is there another? There we go. So this is finished product. This one going to. So this is them after they came back and put in the HMA. We only did the travel lanes on this. So we did not, this has 3 lanes, it has a center turn lane. We did not do the center lane. There were some residents that felt like it would have been better if we'd done the center turn lane just because it would have looked nicer. But we really were focused on more structural improvements, and it would have cost significantly more to add the center lane. So we were more of a budget focused on this and just trying to get it to structurally function as opposed to just to also looking. So you can see that center lane is not been repaved, but the lanes on the left and the right have been. and it does look really nice. It gives it a nice, clean black look. Also, Monroe's a very pretty place. It's fun to see in the background, all the mountains and stuff when you're up there.
These slides will be available also on the City of Monroe's website, the Monroe Transportation Benefit District Capital page. And we'll have that posted out there.
We do go a little bit in the farm here, so you can also see the new pavement in the farm. We did full grind and overlay within the farm, so we didn't have the center lane issue that we had on Country Crescent. Right. It was only a couple of months. I'm gonna say 12 weeks total. We also, I'll get into that actually. So we also did on Powell, we did a utility replacement project, and then as part of that, we did a full pavement removal. So we actually took out all of the asphalt down to the base, added a new base, and then built over the top of that. So this is them taking that out. Next slide. This is another drone video of the finished product. Again, looks really nice. It's all freshly striped. It's a little bit tricky getting out there before we get too much traffic, trying to get it looking nice and clean.
Sidewalks are all too.
Yes, they are now. Yeah, and we've placed some curb ramps as well.
Derek, that's the new standard street layout, is that right?
That is, I actually wasn't here for the design of that. Is that complete streets compliant?
Sidewalk, banner on both sides. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Board Member Walker, to answer that question. Yes, that is a typical urban street standard where we have, in a residential section, we have sidewalk on both sides, planter strip on both sides. In a commercial setting, we would forego the planter strip just because of all the foot traffic beating up the grass. But that's typical roadway for Monroe.
Are residents that live on the other side responsible for keeping that dirt?
No, it's residents are responsible to maintain the landscaping.
Board member, anybody else have any questions? Before we move on?
Next.
Good.
So again, these are just some photos of the finished product. And we did do some curb ramp replacements on all of these, and that's just bringing the curb ramps up to ADA requirements. One is checking the slopes to make sure that the slopes are adequate, but then we also add that detectable warning plate, that yellow plate there that you see. So even if the slopes are correct, we will still blow out the ramp just to put in the warning plate. That's also part of ADA requirements. Yeah, here they are being built. And they, some of them, there's several different styles. There's kind of a wing look that you see in the center one there. And then we have ones with what are called pedestrian curbs, where it's a little narrower, it provides for more landscaping. But there's curbs on either side to prevent to act as a stop so people don't roll off the side of the ramp. And that should actually say 2023 TBD also supported refreshing citywide striping and pavement marking. So as part of the ARM this year, we did Country Crescent and the farm, but we also went through a large part of the city and refreshed striping and paint on the ground. We did pothole repair, crack sealing on roads, and we managed our online pavement management portal, which kind of keeps track of the condition of all of the streets citywide. And so some of the funding went to managing that software as well.
Board member Beaumont?
A question for you, in terms of the sports striping, the portion of
street that is kind of between Fred Meyer, you're heading toward the Beaver, toward Cascados, there's sort of that, right on Highway 2 and Chelsea, which is off Highway 2 and toward City Beaver. And that street sort of breaks into 3 lanes. At one point, and it may have been addressed, I'm just curious if anyone has come to the city and asked about stuff like that.
Okay, I know we did turning right there at Fred Meyer. We did some restriping there. I don't remember off the top of my head. I mean, if you're saying it hasn't been done, but we do have an annual road maintenance every year. So it's easy enough to add if that's an area of concern. You said that's as the North Kelsey makes kind of a turn. Is that kind of where you're thinking?
And it's kind of where a few years ago we put that tree, separation, that kind of fine red lava. It kind of comes up to that line. People kind of have to switch around and go from sort of the 2 lane into 3 lanes.
It is an
At one point,
interesting
the
area.
striping was really faded, and it's kind of an issue, so, and, I haven't, I shouldn't pay attention to see it get done, but I just like to find out that.
I know we did generally in that area. Do you remember, Scott, off the top of your head, if we did restrict that? Anyways.
Area last year. But we got what specifically you're talking about, I don't know if it ever got.
Yeah, no problem, I was just curious, thank you.
So this is our overview of what we're going to be doing for 2024. Matthew Bush is going to be running this year. So we're going to be doing portions of Frylands Boulevard, Blueberry Lane. We have a 147 signal that's going in, and then 179th sidewalk project, and all of these will have portions of pavement that will be covered by TV.
Board Member Scarborough.
The 179 sidewalk will go all the way down.
So you see on the, it's a little hard to see it now. So it's basically from 522 south to, what is that, 154? Is that what? Or no, what is, no, that's, yeah, sorry.
I was gonna say, get that man a mic.
So the project's on the west side of 179th. If you go from north to south, we're going to install sidewalk where the 154th, 179th intersection is under 522. We're going to start sidewalk there, and we're going to fill in about 3 gaps of missing sidewalk along the west side, so that when we're done, people walking on 154th sidewalk will be able to come down 179th and be on sidewalk all the way to Park Place Middle School. So, federal grants are helping us with that.
Board Member Scarborough, are you done? Any more questions?
No, I think it's important to 179 for the government. Having run the budget up and down that road, and the kids just over the white line.
Yep, and that'll fill in a really needed section. Yeah, that should be kicking off real soon.
Before we go to Board Member Walker, I was gonna ask, when we complete those sidewalks, will we be painting fresh bike lane signs where the students have been walking?
I
That
believe
traditionally
there's-
was a
is there
bike
striping,
lane?
or is there no, are we doing bike lanes on that one? I don't remember. off the top of my head.
Yeah,
Project area,
So if it's in the project area, the contractor will probably tear up the roads and whatnot, but those stripes would be refreshed. Going up and down the road, we'd have to look at the citywide striping plan and seeing if more 179 is targeted for refreshing the stripes. I don't have that answer right now.
okay. Yeah, I would just love to see, if we're gonna finish the sidewalk, to me, it would make sense to paint fresh bike lane signs along the whole portion of the sidewalk from 179th all the way to the middle school, so that it's clear to students that, oh, this is a bike lane, use the sidewalk, so we're not worried about the them walking where they have been walking for years and years, right? So. Board Member Walker?
With the,
That's your mic.
with the pedestrian crossing improvements that are going to be made outside of Paisanos and the other one down by the YMCA, will the overlay, is there any kind of synchronization of when the overlay happens and when that kind of work is done? Because nothing, I don't know, nothing sadder to me than when an overlay is done or road work is done, and then 6 months later, the road's getting cut up. Happened on Rainier View.
We do try and keep as much of an eye on that as possible. Sometimes it's just
Yeah.
unavoidable because the funding just does not work. But that is a common, it is, I think, almost every project we do consider,
Awesome.
are we gonna come through and replace the utilities 6 months after we do it? Because it is heartbreaking.
Yeah,
when that happens.
definitely.
Anything further?
No.
Board Member Beaumont?
Sorry, I forgot to ask this earlier. On that sidewalk completion project, do we know if that's going to be done by the end of the school year?
This school year, that has been a little bit of a challenge in terms of scheduling on that one. They are scheduled to begin construction.
Yes, the contractor, we just had a pre-construction meeting. They're hoping to start May 20th. So this school year, no, it won't be done.
Okay,
this
June
school year.
21's the last day, so probably not, but to be able to say it's coming for next fall is really significant. So thank you, that's been a long time coming, and I get questions about that a lot, 'cause, coach and teach there, and it's just, that is a phenomenal development for everyone in the community to get those kids to school safely. So thank you.
Any other questions before we move on? I do want to say thank you for the ADA. I know it's in our plan, but I always love seeing all the new ADA corrections that we're making. I know it's going to take years and years, but we're doing what we can, so,
It's been a good pace.
yeah. Okay,
This is what we've done since 2016. So 265 curb ramp updates and 38.97 centerline miles paved. Next slide. So that is 2,312,411 square feet of paving, and that would cover about 40 football fields that we've done in the city since 2016. All right.
yeah.
I think that covers everything. Thank you so much. Is there any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Hassert, do you have anything else to add?
Not at this time, other than I think that the Public Works crew are doing an amazing job with the money, so keep up the good work.
Great. All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is staff department reports. Ms. Hassert, do you have anything?
Sorry, I
Miss-
thought that was the staff report.
It's okay. Mr. Peterson is here. Anything, Peter, report? Okay. All right, board member reports. I'll just ask you to raise your hand if you have something to report that has to do with Transportation Benefit District. Board member Fisher.
First of all, Powell Street looks awesome. It's my hood. I have a question. I don't know if it's really relates to TBD or not. The sidewalks on Madison Street, that being commercial, there is no planter strip in between, but it's all residential houses. So I was just wondering if maybe we could take that into consideration. It may be zoned commercial, but it's still all houses there, and it would be cool to have like grass or trees or something instead of all concrete. Just my own personal opinion. That's all I got. Everything else looks awesome. Thanks for all your hard work.
Thank you. Any other board members? Okay, Ms. Simonson, is there a need for executive session? Okay. Well then, is there a motion to adjourn? Motion's been made by Board Member Scarborough, seconded by Board Member Walker. Boma, thank you. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed? Motion carries 6-0. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.